While this rebound in the market is playing out, let's take it across to Pankaj and try and analyze, Pankaj, what went wrong with Lupin? As I look at all the factors, the margins, their top as well as bottom line, it's a big miss. What went wrong?
Absolutely, Aisha. I was just looking at the numbers and, trying to find out as to what's happened. And the margins, if I'm not wrong, are at 17.1%. Now, just let me give you a figure. Back in 2010, 11, 12, when the company was every day hitting highs after results, the margins went from 23% to 31%. And now from 31% back to 17%. And that's, I think, the key explanation that the management would be explaining. I think the management is just ready to speak and they would be talking about the numbers. But I was looking at the US sales and it's not that bad, 5% growth QOQ. That's a decent number. It's not a bad number. In fact, the expectation was only for about 1% or so. 1,375 crores is what the street would be happy with. But it's a 1,400 crores plus is what they have done. So that's a decent number. But the management code states that one-time forex losses as well as adverse mix. So I want to know what that adverse mix is. Remember, every company, especially a company like Lupin or a Sun Pharma, has a lot of drugs. Some of their drugs are very high margin. Some of their drugs, which are generic, are very, very low margin business. So I think it is tilted towards the lower margin business, and that's why margins have just come in at 17%. The stock is down 5%. Again, management commentary will be very important. What they say about the future outlook, has the base business bottomed out or not, that is something which will be important. But overall, definitely a weak set of numbers, and this time around it's not by sales, it's by EBITDA. EBITDA 2 to 3 years back was as high as 31%, and now it's 17%, and that probably calls for some sort of downgrades on EPS coming back for FY18 as well as going into FY19.
Okay, in fact, talking about Lupin's numbers, I think we can cut across to the press conference and hear out from the management themselves as to what went wrong with the Q3 performance.
America gained 6%, and whilst APAC was kind of sluggish, EMEA was also kind of, EMEA was kind of sluggish. As Dr. Sharma was saying, the results are, were also pretty bad only because of the fact that you had one times in terms of the forex hit, which is close to about 96 crores for this year. The other issue is the fact that when the tax rates in America, when it went down, you would expect things to be better for us in the long term. But unfortunately, this quarter, we have the impact of, in fact, of winding down of the deferred tax asset. It cost us about 40 crores in this, in this particular quarter. If you were to knock off those two, the results would be normalized, would be, in fact, much better than what has been reflected in our financials. In terms of EBITDA, whilst the EBITDA was about 18.3% for this quarter, if you were to normalize for Forex, you would see it is close to about 21%. For the full year, we've been, again, for the first 9 months at least, we've been able to maintain about 21%. This quarter, we also closed with, in fact, an R&D spend of about 12.2%, which is in line with what we did in the previous quarters as well. And we are targeting about 12.5% for the full year. That would keep our pipeline flowing. And when you speak about, in fact, the prospects for, in fact, the specialty, and Vinita will certainly talk a lot more about it, we bought into Solasec this year.